Hey, this is Ramon, Channels Alpha 4, and this is my Bible Basics series. Alright, so, what do we have? We have Matthew. Matthew was written at about 70 AD, but our earliest surviving fragment is from 200 AD. Mark was written in 68 AD, but our early surviving fragment is from 2500 AD. Luke is from 80 AD. John is from 90 AD, that's when it was written for the first time, but our earliest surviving fragment is from 160 AD. Acts is from 95 AD, but our earliest surviving fragment is from 250 AD. Most of the letters, so Romans, Corinthians, around 57 AD. Our earliest surviving fragments are from about 300 AD. Exceptions are Titus, which is as late as 100 AD when it was written, and Hebrews and James, which Hebrews is around 80 AD when it was written, and James is around 65 when it was written. Then we have texts like Jude, where we just don't know when it was composed, but we know that its earliest surviving fragments are dated very late, around 400 AD. Let me give you Revelations. Revelations was written in about 95 AD, but our earliest surviving text is from about 200 AD. Although some people have pushed that date back to 150 AD. That's when the New Testament was written. It wasn't written while Christ was alive. While Christ was alive, they would have been through oral tradition. Okay? It wasn't written until, let's say, 30 or 40 years after he died. And then our earliest surviving fragments isn't until about 100 years or 200 years, sometimes even 300 years after he died. Okay? So our earliest surviving fragments of these works are hundreds of years after his death. Alright, then let me restate this, and this is very important, and I'm going to actually put this at the beginning. If I do another video, I'll put it at the beginning of that one as well. Alright, Jesus and his disciples, the patriarchs and the matriarchs of the Old Testament, every single one was a Jew. Jesus was a Jew, Paul was a Jew, all the disciples, Jews. There are later apostles who are not Jewish, but all the key ones, the 12, Jews. Okay? Every single one, including Jesus, was Jewish. The law that Jesus was talking about was the Jewish law, the Torah. Okay? Understand that. Any anti-Semitic person out there, Jesus was a Jew. This is a book written by Jews for Jews. That's what the Bible is. There is a lot of anti-Semitism out there. There's a lot of Jewish people, especially rabbis, have a horrible distrust of Christians. Okay? I don't know if that applies to Catholics as well, but I'm assuming it does because Catholics are Christians. Okay? Understand, our faith comes from your faith. We are part of that tree. So please understand that any person out there who's not Jewish, and any Jewish person who's listening to this, Jesus was a Jew. We understand that. A lot of anti-Semitism has happened. That's not us. I understand that it's in the Bible. I understand that Paul, who was a Jew, said horrible things about women, horrible things about homosexuals, and horrible things about the Hebrewic people. I get it. He said it. It's in there. But understand, a lot of that anti-Semitism came in from later scribes from the medieval time period who lived in France and Germany and Britain and Spain. And they were doing is they were adding in their own interpretation and putting in their own opinions into the stories. Okay? And sometimes there were textual notes on the side that would then be added into the story. And to show a non-negative example of this, everyone's favorite Jesus story about not throwing the first stone was just an addition. It was something that someone put as a note and eventually got added in. Okay? So it happened. People added anti-Semitism into a book that was traditionally a Jewish book. All the original Christians were Jews. It isn't until later, until after Paul, that Christianity became a Gentile religion. Originally, all Christians were Jews. That's why Christians call non-Christians Gentiles. We get that terminology from the Jews who we are practicing their religion. Okay? The Old Testament is their religion. All right. We all worship all three mainline Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all worship the same God. Okay? We do. We have different prophets. We have different understandings. For instance, our prophet we consider to be God's Son, 3 in 1, Holy Trinity. Jews have a very hard time understanding that. They have a very hard time with our understanding of Messiah. Understand that that's part of the history, and if you ignore that, you're going to run into a wall when you're trying to talk to someone about your faith. All right, let me finish on this. All church fathers were Catholic. Before the Protestant Reformation, all the church fathers were Catholic. Martin Luther was a Catholic before he got kicked out. Okay, peace.